Good morning, Cal Poly. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Cal Poly's spring commencement ceremony for the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences and the College of Science and Mathematics. My name is Keith Humphrey, and as Cal Poly's Vice President for Student Affairs, it is my privilege to preside over today's joyous ceremony. I want to begin by wishing my fellow fathers a very happy Father's Day, and We want to thank you for sharing your day today with our graduates. At this time, it is my pleasure to present Cal Poly's Wind Orchestra, led by conductor Christopher Woodruff. Soloist Samantha Folk from the College of Liberal Arts will be singing our national anthem. ROTC cadets of Cal Poly's Military Science Department, led by Cadet Battalion Commander Wyatt Thomas, under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Joshua Gillen, will post the colors. Please rise and remain standing if you are able, and gentlemen, please remove your caps until the color guard has exited the field. Please post the colors. Please be seated. We have so many reasons to be Cal Poly proud today. As a university, we are conferring more than 4,500 degrees upon deserving scholars. Yeah, let's hear it for these amazing students. Come on, let's give it up for them. Each of our students has worked very hard, and our talented and dedicated faculty and staff have been there each and every step of the way, encouraging them towards success. Also with us today are the many parents, family members, friends, partners, spouses, and supporters who had to put up with you when you were in elementary school and acted like you knew everything. Well, today is your day. You can celebrate because as a Cal Poly graduate, you indeed do know everything. As for tomorrow, As for tomorrow, let's just say there's a lot more learned by doing in your future. Graduates, from wow to now, from wow to now, we have all invested a great deal in your success. You are expected to enter the world poised to make a difference in your professions and through service to your communities. During your time in San Luis Obispo, you have improved this community. We are confident about the contributions you will make to improve the world around you. You leave us today as Mustangs United under love, empathy, and respect for others. A few of you have prepared to serve in the most unselfish way of all. This weekend, we are graduating 6 students who will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. We cannot thank you enough for your willingness to serve our country, and we are indebted to all who have served in the military. And I ask that all active duty servicemen and women and veterans in our audience today, please stand or wave your hand and be recognized for your service to our country. Thank you. Joining me on stage this morning are members of the President's Party, led by President Jeffrey D. Armstrong. Honorees, special guests, and individuals invited to address the graduates will be introduced later in the program. Members of the President's Party with us today are Carol Chandler, Trustee Emeritus, Dean Wendt, Dean of Research, Adam Jarman, Associate Vice President for Development, Andrew Schaffner, Grand Marshal, and Chip Appel, Grand Marshal. At this time, graduates, I would like to ask all members of the Platform Party to rise, and please join me in recognizing them. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Cal Poly's Student Body President, Jana Colombini. Hang on, I have something to say. There is no student I know that represents learn by doing better than Jana Colombini. In her 4 years at Cal Poly, she has done it all, from being a stellar student, an involved member of her sorority, student government board member, WOW leader, and finally your student body president. No task has been too large or overwhelming for Jana. She has approached each day as your president with the poise and grace that Columbinis have been known for on this campus for generations. She has led selflessly when it could be easy to do otherwise, and she has done it with a smile on her face every single day. Jana cares about you, this campus, and being a Mustang forever. We are a better campus because of you, Jana, and we look forward to seeing how you will change the world because we know you can and we know you will. So for the last time, please welcome your student body president, Jana Colombini.
Hello, everyone. Like Vice President Keith Humphrey just said, my name is Jana Colombini, and I've had the honor of serving as this year's student body president. I would like to thank everyone for being here today, especially my fellow graduates. You may have gone through quite a few barriers, some of which probably started at 6 a.m. this morning, or some stresses that you endured over the past 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 years at Cal Poly. All of the Poly rating searches you did, hoping that your upcoming test was on Quizlet, or scrolling through the Class of Facebook pages when you lost your Poly card or needed survey responses. You've accomplished something that not everyone has the ability to do. You finally earned a college degree, and you did it at one of the best universities in the country. But in the end, you are the one who did it. Always remember to thank your supporters, faculty, and mentors that have positively impacted your life and helped you get to this moment, because none of us could have actually done this alone. Go out into the world and use all of the skills you've learned at Cal Poly and be successful. Along the way, don't forget about the memories you made here, though. That feeling you felt when you were a Wowie and you were scared to start this new chapter in your life, all the hikes around SLO that you did that were followed by basic Instagram pictures, the late night adventures with your friends, going to Slodoko and Taco Bell at strange hours of the night, the not so random whiffs of the dairy you would get after coming out of class that probably felt like home to some of you, or the not so random parking tickets. Being some of the last to know about VG's late night, the moments when you realized you met some of your lifelong best friends, the clubs or organizations that you now call your family, and the hours upon hours that you spent studying to receive something that maybe you were the first in your family to do. To put your hard work into perspective, if you listen to Dean Bailey's famous study 25 to 35 hours a week over the course of 4 years, taking 3 quarters a year, you studied anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 hours over your time here, which is about 150 to 200 days worth of studying. Now, if you're a 5th year, add about 900 hours to that. Yeah, or a 6th year, you know. Some of us put in far more, but some of us maybe put in far less. Regardless, you must have done something right to get here today. We've overcome struggles together and challenges, and we've definitely celebrated any success together. You're now a Wowie of the real world. You're going to be scared, and you're probably already nervous, but you get to grow from all of you that you've learned at Cal Poly, and after a few weeks, you'll have it down, just like when you came to Cal Poly. Or it may take a few years, just like when you came to Cal Poly. This is the end of just the introductory chapter of your life. You have so many more chapters to write. Always remember to keep learning by doing or learning by failing, but regardless, have fun with the next chapter of your life. Mustangs, for my final time as ASI president, thank you for a wonderful year. It has been an honor and a privilege serving as your president, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Thank you, and congratulations, fellow graduates.
Thank you, Jana. Now, graduates, please welcome Dr. Gary Laver, the chair of Cal Poly's Academic Senate, who will speak to you on behalf of our outstanding faculty. Dr. Laver.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of Cal Poly's Academic Senate and all of our faculty, allow me to welcome everyone, graduates, family, friends, and fathers, to these joyful proceedings. Naturally, we are here to celebrate the graduates' hard work and accomplishments, but it is also important that we recognize all of you who have provided them with essential support as they work toward this day. Here's to you. On this day, as we celebrate the pursuit of knowledge, I'd like to take a moment to consider its companion, ignorance. Mind you, I'm not speaking of stupidity. We don't have enough time to address that. It may seem odd at an event celebrating the culmination of years of learning to address what we don't know. But whether you come from a discipline that uses the Socratic method or the scientific method, the reality is that every question answered raises many new ones. In this way, as academics know so well, ignorance seems to overwhelm knowledge. It is the dark matter of the academic universe. We know so much, but there is far more that we do not. While thought-provoking, I would suggest that this realization raises a more important point. Namely, our strength lies in the inherent value we place on pursuing knowledge and transmitting it to others, including younger generations. Further, we would do well to remind ourselves that respecting facts and embracing the pursuit of truth are not merely academic values, but among all humanity's most critical assets. Without them, we are surely lost. Certainly no one will be surprised to hear an endorsement of knowledge at a commencement ceremony. But the human enterprise is not, of course, merely one of knowledge or its pursuit. As a famous Vulcan once said, logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. And while logic is powerful, it is not the only benefit of higher education. In addition to the foundation provided by truth, our lives are given depth by cultivating an appreciation of the world and by taking care of one another. And graduates, I trust your time at Cal Poly has been one in which you have incorporated an appreciation of the world's beauty and a respect of your fellow travelers through life. If the premise of education is that the human condition is improvable, the proof of this and the ongoing promise of this are evident in every one of you graduating today. Truth, beauty, and compassion are a mighty combination in keeping ignorance at bay, and I encourage you to hold tightly to these values as you go forward. About going forward, graduates, if you're elated, you should be. If you're exhausted but relieved, I completely understand. And if the uncertainty of what happens next makes you nervous, I'd say that sounds about right too. However you happen to feel, let me say again that we at Cal Poly have endeavored to provide you not only with an education, but with a value system for improving the world. We hope you use it and share it. As we say goodbye in our ceremonial way, on behalf of the faculty and all of us at Cal Poly, I wish you well on your road to wisdom. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Laver. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium the president of Cal Poly, Dr. Jeffrey D. Armstrong.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Happy Father's Day to those in attendance. And congratulations, graduates. Every year at these ceremonies, the president of Cal Poly has the privilege and honor of recognizing various individuals and groups for their contributions to Cal Poly. Cal Poly's faculty is central to our educational mission. These individuals serve with outstanding qualifications and a deep dedication to excellence in teaching, research, and service. This year, the Distinguished Teaching Award Committee and the Distinguished Scholarship Award Committee of the Academic Senate selected 6 recipients to be recognized for their exceptional ability as educators. The Cal Poly Alumni Association, representing over 185,000 alumni nation and worldwide, joins the Academic Senate in recognizing these distinguished teachers and in celebrating the key role our faculty members play in preparing you for success in life. One of the recipients of the Distinguished Teacher Award is Anthony Mendez, Professor of Mathematics in the College of Science and Mathematics. One of the recipients of the Distinguished Scholarship Award is Suzanne Phelan, Professor of Kinesiology in the College of Science and Mathematics. Please join me in extending congratulations to these outstanding faculty. Thank you. It is now my honor to confer an honorary degree on behalf of Cal Poly and the California State University. I would like to invite Steve and Matilda Maddox to step forward to receive Mr. Douglas Maddox's posthumous honorary doctorate of science. Stand right here. Mr. Douglas Maddox earned his BS in Dairy Science from Cal Poly in 1957. His education established in him a passion for lifelong learning. which he demonstrated by traveling throughout the world to learn of the best practices in raising Holstein cattle, but also to share the results of his own experimentations, learned by doing. His cattle and their products were sought out all over the world and recognized on multiple occasions for their excellent quality. Mr. Maddox passed away in 2011 after a distinguished career as an industry leader in dairy science and breeding. Together with his family, he transformed a 14-cow herd in 1957 into a world-known and admired Ruan Dairy, Maddox Dairy, and Golden Genes. His passion for his work was surpassed only by his passion for his family, who worked side by side with him to build his dairies. It is therefore fitting that today his son Steve Maddox and his widow Matilda Maddox are here to accept his posthumous honorary doctorate of science. Steve and Matilda Maddox, on the recommendation of the faculty of California Polytechnic State University and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I am proud to confer upon Douglas Maddox the honorary degree of Doctor of Science with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations. I would now like to invite Steve to make a few brief comments.
You know, it was 60 years ago that Doug was in here graduating. That was the first year that women were allowed at Cal Poly. Guys, I think we're outnumbered. But I tell you what, Doug did a lot of things, but that learn by doing that he learned here was ever so important. He lived kind of a carpe diem, seize the day. As things came to him, he wasn't necessarily an innovator, but he grasped things that came to him. What he learned here at Cal Poly and his mentorship from Cal Poly got him to where he wanted to be. Other dairy students, other people that followed him at Cal Poly were the ones that made the dairy industry in California what it is today. Number one, not just in the United States, but also number one in the world in milk production, in nutrition, genetics, and in cow care and sustainability. We transformed, from Cal Poly, we transformed the entire dairy industry around the world. But not just dairy, but also all of agriculture. It is very important in Doug's time, when I graduated, my son graduated, to keep putting out the best and the brightest, and that's what you are. So spend the time in deeds and words, make Poly proud, keep after it. We need just your efforts, and we appreciate this. President Armstrong, thank you very much. Our family is deeply touched and honored. Thank you.
This is the first posthumous honorary degree offered in the history of Cal Poly. I appreciate Trustee Carol Chandler for making the nomination. I'm now delighted, and it's a special pleasure today, to introduce our keynote speaker, retiring Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, Phil Bailey. I don't have to say too much for the students of both colleges, as they know Dean Bailey, but for the parents and family and friends, I want you to know that he has impacted every student on this campus for 48 years. He served in many different roles, most notably as dean. He's also served as acting provost. He started the 25-35 program. He was the main catalyst for not one building, but 3 buildings. He and his spouse, Tina, have financially supported these buildings, and they also were partners in the development of the chemistry studio classrooms. There are many, many acts of kindness and support of students that have been taken by Tina and Phil over the years, many that only they will know. But he is a hero among our students, always noticing the students who might be left out, left behind, and making sure they have what they need to move forward. It is with great honor that I introduce to you our keynote speaker, my friend, Phil Bailey.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. Let me start out by congratulating all of you. I'm going to start with agriculture here. 48 years ago, in 1969, 3 ag students in my general chemistry class took me on a tour of the ag campus. It was an amazing experience. I witnessed learn by doing in a way that I could not have imagined before I'd had that. In fact, I knew more about the College of Agriculture when I was first here than the College of Science and Math because of that. Even today, I still have running trails that I take with my running group in the College of Agriculture. Well, it's actually a slow walking group today. But I know a lot about it. You got a lot to be proud of, and congratulations to the College of Agriculture. For those of you in the College of Science and Mathematics, I've tried to meet each and every one of you, if only with a high five, and we had a lot of those this morning. Often it was meeting you and your family as you moved into Muir Hall, on academic day, maybe at WOW, I was handing out 25, 35 magnets, and I'm the one that sent you an email every week to 10 days during your first 2 years, giving you messages about studying, learning, being safe, staying healthy. It's been a privilege to be your dean. Thank you. Well, to all of you, it looks like we're going through transitions today. Retirement for me, though I'll still be on campus because I am entering the Faculty Early Retirement Program. Now, I know that sounds weird if someone who's been here 48 years and is 74 years old, but I can't leave this place. And graduation for you and the beginning of many new chapters in your life. Your attention in the coming years will focus on career, family, and community. I would like to encourage you to take some time to consider the experiences that shape your character and beliefs thus far and how they may influence your future. At 74 years old and entering a new phase of life, let me share some of my early experiences as they may give insight into how you might step into your future and make a contribution to your community. I grew up in Texas in a middle-class family. I went to segregated schools, as that's how it was at that time. I didn't know any black children at all. The only black person I knew as a child was Claire Nita, the maid in our house, sort of like The Help, the movie and the book The Help. I loved Claire Nita. She had a huge influence on my life. But we were her white children, and she spent all day, 5 days a week at our house. I wondered about her children. Who was taking care of them? Who was making sure they had a future? I didn't know any Mexican people either. If I knew any gay people, I wasn't aware of it. In my last years of high school, in the late 1950s, 2 incidents influenced me greatly. In the summers, I worked at a fast food restaurant, a hamburger place in Austin, Texas, called 2J, that sold over 1 million hamburgers a year. I know it's hard to believe there was a time before McDonald's, but there was, and in Austin, Texas, it was 2J's. Mr. and Mrs. Moreland were the owners. Their son owned several high-end hamburger places in Austin called Holiday House. The only way an African American could buy a hamburger at Holiday House was to knock on the back door by the garbage cans. If the employees weren't busy, they would sell them to African Americans. In contrast, one evening at 2J, a white man came to my register and placed his order. He then said, "I guess you know why I'm at your register and not the one next to you." He continued that it was bad enough that 2J had a black person cooking his hamburgers, but he sure wasn't going to have a black person hand them to him. And by the way, he didn't say black person. The cook was Ben. The lady at the other register was Virginia. Both wonderful people, despite the oppression they endured as African Americans in Texas. I learned a lot about loyalty, work ethic, dependability, and initiative just by being around them. Mrs. Moreland happened to be there that day. And when I went to pick up the man's order, I whispered into her ear what the customer had said. She followed me back to my register and asked the man if he had any complaints about her employees. He repeated very loudly what he had said to me. And Mrs. Moreland replied forcefully, "Sir, we only serve people like you by the garbage cans in the back." You would have had to have lived back then to realize what a courageous display of leadership and character this was. She lost more customers than just that one person as a result of her stance. But she influenced my life, and she influenced the lives of many others, and she gave some dignity to her employees. The other incident happened when I was president of Austin High School's midterm graduating class. Although Austin High was a large school, there were only about 30 of us in the class as it was a December graduation. Our banquet was at 6 p.m. at El Toro Mexican restaurant. At 5 p.m., the owner called, said, "I didn't know you had blacks in your class." Again, he didn't say blacks. Austin High had just been integrated the year before. "You will have to go to my restaurant in East Austin. They can't be here." I drove to El Toro as quickly as I could and asked the owner to let us meet there if we gathered outside and walked in together with the two black girls in the middle. No one would notice, as the stairs to the basement banquet were right at the entrance. Honestly, I was scared. I desperately wanted to shield the two girls from embarrassment and the indignity of not being allowed in the restaurant, and it wasn't at all clear to me that my fellow classmates would have boycotted that dinner if the girls were not allowed in. Finally, the owner agreed. I was so relieved. I guess my actions as 17-year-old are understandable, as this happened in 1960, certainly not acceptable today. But in the end, thankfully, the two African-American girls didn't even know there had been an issue. Or did they? I'm embarrassed to tell you that it was quite a few years before I realized the courage of those two black girls, and especially their families who dropped them off at that restaurant. No African-American had ever eaten at El Toro or any other major restaurant in Austin, Texas. It's an incredible example of courage and leadership. My college and PhD education all occurred in the 1960s. It was a tumultuous decade that included the war in Vietnam, the pursuit of civil rights and equal opportunity for all, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and his brother and presidential candidate, Robert Kennedy, and of course, Martin Luther King. Lots of images still remain in my mind. I remember as an undergraduate seeing on the news George Wallace in an inaugural address as governor of Alabama speak these 6 words: segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, and then 6 months later, standing in the schoolhouse door, blocking the admission of 2 black students to the University of Alabama. As a graduate student at Purdue, I remember April 4th, 1968, our quiet midnight march around the courthouse in Lafayette, Indiana, to lament the death of Dr. King earlier that day. I was deeply influenced by these and many other events. I'm encouraged by the progress in our country. You are observing images every day that you will remember forever and that will shape your character. For me, I've gone from not knowing any African Americans other than Clarinita to having a family with 4 adopted mixed-race children. From not knowing any Mexican people to be a huge supporter of undocumented students who came from California as babies and young children. From not being aware, thank you. From not being aware of knowing any gay people to having many wonderful gay friends, colleagues, and students. However, I am also greatly concerned about the prejudice and insensitivity that still exists and disrupts our communities. Let me give you just one example of many: Islamophobia. We had a group on our campus that took some leadership and some courage to address this. Cal Poly's Muslim Student Association hosted Dalia Mogahed, the author of American Muslim Poll 2017, just a few weeks ago. She spoke to a packed house of 1,000 people in Shumash Auditorium. Let me share with you 2 quotes from that speaker. Since 9/11, American Muslims have been asked to tell the world what they condemn versus what they contribute. And ISIS has as much to do with Islam as the Ku Klux Klan has to do with Christianity. Most Americans say they don't personally know a Muslim, yet over 40% of Muslim school children in our country have experienced bullying in school, and 1/4 of the incidents involve a teacher. This is well over twice the bullying rate in the general population. Why? I mean, really, why? Let me share with you just a few facts out of the Muslim Poll 2017. American Muslims have the 2nd highest educational attainment of major religious groups in the United States. American Muslim women do indeed work outside the home and are more likely than most to work in professional fields. American Muslims are very involved in their community, slightly more than most. And American Muslims have high rates of giving to overseas relief efforts, domestic poverty elimination, and supporting civil rights initiatives. Clearly, the negative images we see so often in the news don't describe what it means to be Muslim. Remember, I said I didn't know any black or Mexican children when I was a child, and I just said that most Americans don't know a Muslim. To understand and accept various groups in our communities, it's important to get to know them. It's a true learn-by-doing exercise that we can all do if we take the initiative. I got to know refugees from the Vietnam War by getting to know Cal Poly students and their families who were Vietnamese refugees. You can get to know undocumented students. You can get to know Muslim students. You can get to know gay students. All of these things are out there if all of us will just take the initiative to respect and get to know each other. I hope you take the opportunity to interact with people who are different and unfamiliar to you. I hope you will take leadership in combating intimidation and encouraging acceptance. I hope you will become an admired role model in your community, as in doing so, you can quietly influence others. I hope you will demonstrate love, empathy, and respect, as Mustangs United has advocated on our campus. I hope you will show leadership in rejecting hate and encouraging inclusiveness. Can you make a difference? I think you can. I think especially if we work together. I've always been impressed by a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Whatever you do will be insignificant, but it's very important that you do it. With every act of understanding, you can make a difference. With every act of acceptance, you can make a difference. With every act of kindness, you can make a difference. With every act of compassion, you can make a difference. With every act of charity, you can make a difference. And with every act of courage, you can make a difference. And if we all do this, every one of us, together we can make a significant difference, and it is very important that we do so. Before I conclude, let me congratulate you once again on earning a degree. Did you know that only 6.7% of the world's population has a college degree? We're all very privileged to have had this opportunity. Access to this privilege has been more difficult for some of you than others, and I really congratulate you that really had to step up and find that privilege. You are a pioneer and a leader for others in your group. But all of you, you've had this privilege of pursuing a degree, and you've done it successfully. If you're earning a bachelor's degree today, you're in the top 1/3 of the United States in educational attainment. If you're earning a master's degree today, you're in the top 10 to 12% of educational attainment in our country. And you know what? You didn't earn your degree at just any university, did you? You earned your degree at? Yes, you did. Congratulations and thank you.
Well, Dean Bailey, thank you for walking the talk, and thank you for making a difference. And I knew he would close with some statistics and math. He didn't talk about being left-handed. He normally does that. But we do have a bit of a surprise for Dean Bailey. Would you please step forward? The President's Medal of Honor is the highest honor awarded at Cal Poly. It is awarded at the discretion of the President. There have only been 9 previous recipients of the President's Medal of Excellence, and today we are honored to add Phil Bailey to that distinguished group of leaders. Let me tell you just a little bit more about Phil. As I mentioned, he served 48 years with distinction. He has personally contributed to the welfare of many students. He's touched many faculty. Through a long-term commitment with a graduate by the name of Bill Frost, he was responsible for leading and bringing forward one of the largest gifts in the history of Cal Poly, $110 million that will provide undergraduate research and scholarships in perpetuity. But I think the most important thing that he's done besides buildings, gifts, it's his example and what he's done, and that he has demonstrated in his life's work what he talked about in his speech. His legacy is every student, faculty, and staff member who learns and discovers here at Cal Poly. I think when we're celebrating the 200th anniversary of Cal Poly, will think about individuals like Phil Bailey. What he has given us time and time again is opportunities to learn, to grow, and to succeed. And today, graduates, he provided you some of the most amazing words possible. So Phil, we can never thank you enough for everything you've done for Cal Poly. We will remain in your debt, and we will continue to learn by doing from your example. Congratulations.
Let me tell you, this is a big deal. It really is. I am really touched by this. But let me also tell you, today isn't about me, it's about you. Let's get back to what we should be doing.
Thank you so much, Dean Bailey, for that fantastic speech and your career of truly, truly inspiring leadership. Many of the proud supporters in the audience today have a familiar and exceptional sense of pride. Today marks an extraordinary day for the families of Cal Poly graduates who have chosen to continue their Mustang legacy. Many of you in the audience are Cal Poly proud alumni, and you may remember with vivid clarity the sense of pride and excitement you felt when you graduated from Cal Poly. At this time, I would like anyone in the audience, the proud families, supporters, friends, and parents who are Cal Poly proud alumni, please stand or wave your hand and be recognized. Welcome home. Welcome home. You are always part of the Mustang family. It is glad to have you back. It is now my pleasure to introduce to our graduates Ellen Cahoon, Assistant Vice President for Alumni Outreach, who will welcome our graduating class into the community of Cal Poly alumni.
Thank you, Dr. Humphrey. Graduates, I have a question for you today. Are you Cal Poly proud? Well, as Assistant Vice President for Alumni Outreach and a Cal Poly alumna myself, it is my true honor to be here today to welcome you to the 185,000 proud community of Cal Poly alumni who have come before you. We are all Mustangs forever. Now I'd like to ask ASI President Jana Colombini to please join me back at the podium one more time. And as Jana comes, please join me and Jana by finding the pin in your bag and standing up together as we commence our annual traditional Cal Poly Proud Pinning ceremony. Graduates, please remove the pin from your bag and join me as I present to you this special gift from your Alumni Association. As you pin your fellow graduate, remember, as you embark on your next journey, that you will always represent Cal Poly, and this will always be your home. Stay connected, come home often, and congratulations again.
Guests and fellow graduates, please rise and locate the Cal Poly alma mater on page 6 of your programs, and join me in the singing of All Hail Green and Gold.
Uh-oh. Okay, we need an ag student to please come help that dove. Good thing this happened at this ceremony. It's okay? Please be seated. All right, we will help them out. Graduates, it is now time to recognize the graduating class of 2017. Let's get excited in here. To preside over the presentation of degrees this morning, please welcome Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Kathleen N. Sfinken.
Good morning, everyone. Cal Poly recognizes outstanding seniors from each college for academic excellence, college contributions, university contributions, and community service. The Academic Excellence Award is determined in each college by consultation with the faculty and is based on achieving an outstanding grade point average and participating in significant academic, curricular, and co-curricular projects and activities. Would the following Academic Excellence awardees please stand and come forward to be recognized? Ricardo Romero, Academic Excellence Awardee from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences. And Anna Marie Parker, Academic Excellence Awardee from the College of Science and Mathematics. Congratulations on your outstanding achievement. At this time, we would like to present a posthumous master's degree from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences to Beatrice Lundy. This degree is being presented to Megan Lundy on behalf of her sister to celebrate her life, hard work, and memory. It's now time to recognize our master's degree candidates. Graduates, let me share the significance of the master's hood that adorns your regalia. The master's degrees awarded today reflect your mastery of a particular field. The origins of commencement regalia date back to the 12th and 13th centuries when universities were first formed. The hood was originally worn for warmth in cold medieval buildings. It's a bit superfluous today, sorry. But it adds character and certainly academic significance to the ceremony. The line and color represents the discipline you have now mastered. Wear your hood with pride. It connects you with the earliest traditions of higher education and denotes scholarly and professional achievements. I'm now pleased to present Richard Savage, Director of Graduate Education, who will present the master's degree candidates.
Good morning. This weekend we are celebrating over 335 master's degrees. We've deepened your technical knowledge and your practical skills in each of your fields of study. And remember, we were all put here for a purpose. And I encourage you to take the knowledge and skills you have developed here at Cal Poly And as Phil Bailey has shared, go out and make a difference in the world. Master's degree candidates of the College of Agricultural, Food, and Environmental Science and the College of Science and Mathematics, please stand and remain standing. Faculty from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design and the wrong script. Faculty from the College of Agricultural, Food, and Environmental Sciences and the College of Science and Mathematics, please stand. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty involved with our graduate programs, I am honored to present these master's degree candidates.
Master's candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of California Polytechnic State University and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the master's degree appropriate to your program with all the attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations!
Graduates and faculty, you may be seated.
I would now like to introduce the Dean of the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, Andrew Thulin. And the Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, Phil Bailey.
I'm not going to get in your way.
Thank you, Provost Finken. Before I introduce our graduates and faculty, I would like to just take a few moments and ask that the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Science graduates and join me in thanking Dean Phil Bailey, a longtime friend, colleague, and mentor to me for many years, and also to the great faculty in the College of Science and Math. As many of you know, students in the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences take many, many classes in the College of Science and Math, and we're grateful for all the support, the opportunity to take many classes, and work with the faculty as well. So thank you very much, and join me in welcome. Thank you. Okay.
Well, I'm up here on the behalf of all the faculty and students in the College of Science and Mathematics to congratulate all of you in the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences.
Okay, at this time, would the faculty from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences please stand to be recognized? And would the bachelor's degree candidates from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, the 5th largest college of its kind in the U.S. and the best college of ag in the country, please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, I am honored to present these candidates for graduation.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
College of Ag, Food, and Environmental Sciences faculty and graduates, you may now be seated.
Congratulations, College of Agriculture. Could I ask my faculty colleagues in the College of Science and Mathematics to please stand and remain standing? That's a good group behind you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for honoring our students. And now it's your turn. Candidates for graduation in the College of Science and Mathematics, please stand and remain standing. President Armstrong, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Science and Mathematics, I am extremely proud to present these candidates.
Bachelor's degree candidates, on the enthusiastic recommendation of the faculty of the College of Science and Mathematics, and by the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I now confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your program with all attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions. Congratulations.
I'm very proud of all of you. You can be seated now. They'll be calling names soon.
So graduates, just a few words of advice from me, and then we'll start the very important aspect of the ceremony where you come across the stage and each of you are recognized individually. Again, I want to say welcome to all of our family members, friends, and especially congratulations to our graduates. You did it. You've accomplished something transformational, and we celebrate that. We've been committed to your success for many years now, and we will remain committed to your success in the future. That future for you starts today. When you first arrived on campus, our goal was to help you learn how to think in complex environments about complex problems. We call that learn by doing. Learn by doing has set you up for a lifetime of success and learning. Many people helped you along the way. I want to thank our faculty and staff for being here today. An amazing turnout from these two colleges. Our faculty created programs and curricula designed to give you the experiences to be resilient in the workforce or in graduate or professional school. Together, our faculty and staff have provided you with mentorship, opportunities, and guidance that you needed to get to this very day. Faculty and staff, thank you for all you've done for our graduates and what you continue to do for all our students. Graduates and everyone else, please help me. Give it up for them. Give them a big round of applause. There's another group that we want to recognize. They're patiently waiting here in the wings for you to each individually be recognized. Your parents, grandparents, siblings, partners, spouses, other family members, and friends who have supported you throughout your lives to get you to this point are here today. Graduates, give these champions a round of applause. They have always been in your corner. Graduates, I imagine as in turning this page in your lives today, some of you are experiencing some uncertainty about the future. If you do feel that way, you don't need to be afraid. You're prepared. You're prepared through Learn by Doing. Embrace uncertainty. Don't be afraid of it. I want you to also always remember that as an alumni, you have responsibilities to ensure that the value of your degree remains high. This is a very special family that you're joining. The quality of your degree is due to the hard work of our faculty and the tremendous success of alumni who came before you. We will do everything on our part to make sure that your degree stands tall and appreciates over time. On your part, we ask that you continue to engage with us. Each year, we admit new students. They will need support, time, mentorship, and yes, in the future, many of you will be in a position to hire Cal Poly grads. Stay in touch and help fellow Mustangs succeed. And yes, especially for the parents, it's not if, but when these graduates are successful, we want you to think about those that have helped you, your communities, your families, those that mean the most to you. And yes, that means giving back to Cal Poly when you're successful. You have been our employees, our volunteers, our partners in undergraduate and graduate research. You have helped our clubs and organizations thrive. You have ensured the strong voice of our students through ASI, and also by telling us in peaceful protest when we need to do more to support you. You've navigated our systems. You've told us when they worked well. You've told us when they didn't work so well. And you've invested a great deal in Cal Poly. We, in turn, have invested a great deal in you. And today, as it says down the runway, your Mustangs Forever 2017. Congratulations. Now, graduates, there's one more. Learn by doing exercise. I need you to all stand, please, if you're able. In order to signify that you are now a graduate, please move your tassel from the right side to the left. Family members, friends, faculty, staff, on behalf of Cal Poly, I present to you the class of 2017. Congratulations!
It's now time for our graduates to walk the stage and be recognized. Graduates, please remain at your seats until your row is escorted to the stage. At this time, I would like to invite the faculty from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences and the College of Science and Mathematics to please proceed to the outside perimeter of the graduate seating area to congratulate our graduates as they exit the stage. Graduates, please return to your seats promptly after your name has been read, and congratulations.
Tuck you in put the big guys in there. That's fine. You just tuck into the corner there.
Brooke Bradshaw.
Heidi Ellen Keys.
Farnush Ayayi.
Jojo Brooker.
Jenna Swenson.
Eli Weissman.
Corey Fontz.
Stacy Habroon.
Kevi Diane Rose Mendez.
Kara Jew.
Marissa Vosmer.
Derek Logan Wampler.
Tori Norville.
Madeline Roycroft.
Ching Jiang.
Brandon Lee Gwenvarch.
Rianne Maxwell.
Matthew Stephen Armas.
Elena Cromer.
Grace Elise Privet.
Jacqueline Chen.
Minnie Tu Vu.
Megan Kitagawa.
Corey Matthew Betancourt.
Ishan Dandaker.
Jacob Scott.
Lauren Elliott.
Phoebe Johnson.
Alexander Shariar Engel.
Linda Brown.
Jeremy Thomas Horegi.
Gianna Bandoni.
Katie Michelle Kalak.
Ryan Yinghua Cox.
Cassandra Lynn Dewey.
Evan Scherzinger.
Teddy Janae Nichols.
David Bilger.
Martin Bernardo Castro.
Claire Elizabeth Dostal.
Alta Lynn Trentham.
David Cotto.
Ruby Richards.
Jason Chu.
Bradley Heil Miranda.
Angelica Key.
Michael Leishman.
S.P. Wilkinson.
Kylie Mendonça.
Kevin DeZendefi.
Sheridan Ann Bolkin.
Brian Keating.
Diana Sumber.
Adam Mayer.
Kyle James Vanel.
Mauricio Pavano.
Kat Collins Porter.
Sam Jennis.
Alexandra Nicole Hughes.
Charles Bowen.
Michelle Susan Velosin.
Delaney Shaw.
Chris Manjola.
Catherine McLaughlin.
Lacey Canutala.
Ellen Crepane.
Nate McCarthy.
Max Levine.
Haley Nicole Schlageter.
Anna Parker.
Michael L. Cano.
Lacey Bushy.
Philippe Napa.
Elias Stokes.
Molly Ann Tobin.
Jason Patterson.
Susan Fang.
Blake Castle.
Amy Christine McDonald.
Talita Jansen van Rensburg.
Olivia Christine Denier.
Jaime Rodriguez.
Isabella Ruiz.
Lauren Don Kikuchi.
Jana Colombini.
Amanda Wong.
Andrew Kung.
Jennifer Lynn Miller.
Odilia Silva.
Chris Wong.
Agu.
Alyssa Lynn Bird.
Cassidy Kinsella.
Megan Elizabeth Tengi.
Mary Catherine Smith.
John Michael Lagar.
Sarah Nicole Kwan.
Jasmine Monique Oliva.
Shelby Marie Matthews.
Nate Lichty.
Emily Lawrence Duncan.
Anna Darren.
Kristen Lynn Byron.
Katrina Pine.
Madeline Yoakum.
Kelly Toppenberg.
Christina Sharkey.
Tiffany Siegel.
Gabrielle Lindblad.
Riley Ellis Reese.
Drew Ryder.
Sarah Landy.
Kevin Luther.
Camille Troyer.
Cody Kelzer.
Jordan Stellern.
Sierra Bransom.
Jake Krantz.
Hannah London.
Matthew Bannicky.
Madison Jeski.
Pooja Cassandra.
Danny Lomoisova the third.
Ryan Angelich.
Adam Morales.
Angelina Quash.
Suzanne Theo Carey.
Hannah Bame.
Tara Davis.
Allison Avery.
Emma Rose High.
Megan Leak.
Gabriela Veronica Hernandez.
Jeremy Silva.
Ricardo Ramon Romero.
Rose Heisinger.
Braden Batista.
Donicella Grace Calhoun.
Jessica Salmon Bohan.
Camille Gix.
Katrina Bruder.
Riley Presnell.
McKenna Nicole Brennan.
Ryan Worth.
Aaron Halligan.
Adam Ibrahim.
Alex Torres Tarver.
Michelle Lee Ponos.
Alex Clydesdale Zinger.
Aaron Riley.
Coleman Lewis DeBlock.
Danielle Brown.
Carson Stone.
Samira Shear.
Angus Chang.
Shannon Garvella.
Kyle Price.
Haley Peterson.
Robert Sloan.
Madeline Kelly.
Andrew David Aline.
Eric Hayen.
Lucas Salem.
Jirel Francis Heepo.
Austin Della.
Kelsey Ann Hem.
Dylan Beatty.
Jenna Sudlow.
Charles Ross.
Andrew Messner.
Bradley Braun.
Sean Maher.
Sean Peel.
Ashley Moss.
Kelsey Van Valer.
Jared Matthew Rosales.
Connor Fields.
Nicole Dirtsche.
Louis Bricketto.
Linnea Elise Ramirez.
Mark Gerznich.
Quentin Gurman.
John Mancuso.
Alonso del Castillo.
Jeremy Edward Coloretti.
Nadine Filippi.
Zach Marco.
Brittany Nelson.
Anthony Carlisle Odo.
Rachel Smiley.
Rhett Anderson.
Michelle Magnuson.
Connor Richard Elliott.
Anna Fong.
Matthew Robert Emsley.
Brenda Tang.
Gianna Elizabeth Brigantino.
Natalie Chides.
Walker Murray Macy.
Majid Aruf Hatini.
Brian Bitter.
Wyatt Pulser.
Kevin De Los Santos.
Nick Pruitt.
Megan Black.
Michael David Stone.
Courtney Richardson.
Christopher Anthony Pan.
Corey Torzon.
Cody John Riska.
Brian Cuff.
Ryan Michael Rosh.
Stephen Wolf.
Colin Aaron Agarda.
Miles Waters.
Jake Richard Fortnum.
Anthony Ferdinandi.
Susie Kawakami.
Katie Nicole Vieira.
Casey Duncan.
Lauren Tomasello.
Sarah Mary Bargo.
Sierra Marie Zeider.
Corinne DeFonte.
Cord Given.
Tressa Arostegi.
Thomas Ross Sawyer.
Madison Suzanne Giger.
Kaylee Anna Phelan.
Shannon Lee Stabler.
Jacqueline Kaspergen.
Kendra Ruby Bonsall.
Cassidy Rose Pierce.
Philip Kahn,
Sophia Heston.
Brandon Leon,
Delaney Phelan Ainsworth.
Adrian Bricio David Mercado,
Alec Charles Fromm.
Paul Fischetti,
Connor Dudas.
Calvin Hong Wu,
Trenton Runnels.
Maritza Luqueen,
Christopher Reeves.
Helen Weidman,
Robert Payton.
Jasmine Brianna David,
Kelsey Carter.
Louisa Isabel Sumilong,
Tyler Whitehead.
Tiffany Chia,
Elizabeth Johansson.
Haley Hewitson,
Kevin Michael Hare.
Kwok Hugh Mai,
Jake Hickman.
Siddharth Prabhu,
Carl Thomas Wilkie.
Isaac Angel de la Cruz,
Rachel Romanelli.
Tatiana Becerra,
Maddie Work.
Ulysses de Jesus Caro Flores,
Crystal Avila.
Jamie Coe,
Jordan Miller.
Caitlin Van Winkle,
Carly Flajo.
Aaron Jitsi,
Melissa Hardoin.
Madison Nadine Pierce,
Cameron Niznik.
Emma Nicole Stringer,
Juliana Muzzini.
Courtney Page McCandless,
Jackson Katz.
Megan Elizabeth Hayes,
Michael Marcotte.
Kristen Kelly Mitchell,
Zoe Odekirk.
Paisley Greenspan,
Grace Ventura.
Shannon Sewell,
KJ Cusack.
Melanie Tango,
Don Masako Moniz.
Taylor Bennett,
Yo Nakamura.
Karen Malin Chestnut,
Carissa Leanne Meijun Joe.
Christy Putnam,
Matthew Purdle.
Leah C. Titoff,
Mark Habib.
Sarah Beth Furtado,
Megan Chang.
Emily Burke,
Kendall Moore.
Christine Ellen Petrak,
Jane Markham.
Carly Rose Alves,
Hans Gilkey.
Callie Watson,
Bryce Shaw.
Ria Vinod,
Claire Shower.
Jennifer Ewan,
Taylor Campbell.
Jessica Elizabeth Katzen,
Hannah Renee Capatillo.
Kelsey McDonald,
Camille Fikes Caldwell.
Deanna Pinomaki,
Callie McKenna.
Andrew Voorhees,
Irene Cecilia Uy.
Joseph Anthony Kairis,
Yasmin Habibi.
Christian Ulrichsen,
Lindsay DaCosta.
Nicolette Everson,
Vivian Nguyen.
Catherine Nicole Rodriguez,
Emmeline Moritzen.
Rachel Marie Cuizon,
Nina Vo.
Megan Nicole Wilson,
Marissa Michelle Jones.
Morris Goodman,
Kaylin Mitchell.
Ellie Brower,
Justin Trebu.
Ben Stone,
Irene Blurian Oyang.
Rick Brundage.
Marcus Satchel Page Allen.
Jamie Lynn Reich.
Tosin Kiria.
Sydney Arthofer.
Lucia Canul.
Caroline Jovanovic.
Christopher O'Connor.
Nathan Keene.
Melissa McKiernan Ramsey.
Caroline Elise Eckhart.
Danielle Kitagawa.
Jessica Ashley Modlick.
Elena Jade Brown.
Nicole Ashley Huffman.
Hannah Nara Shin.
Aaliyah Turcotte.
Sarah Lynn Fields.
Gianna M. Villa.
Brianna Noel Bender.
Marissa Greenband.
Courtney Crane.
Isaac Brace.
Karen Glazer.
Matt Borglin.
Madison Gerlach.
Chandra Brooke Anderson.
Holly Charles.
Krista Radecki.
Jenna D. Smiley.
Morgan Cumro.
Kimberly Spar.
Brianna Balage.
Brenna Dickinson.
Laura Clayton.
Taylor Bosch.
Evan Drake.
Josie Schneider.
Orion Zorich.
Alexandra Marie Kerchick.
Olivia Millet.
Abigail Lee Andreasen.
Marco Antonio Mejia Zetina.
Taylor Marie Driscoll.
William Wang Lee.
Miranda Lynn McCurry.
Greg Lutgen.
Jenna Anderson.
Hannah Brown.
Laura Meyenberg.
Francis Lauren Glazer.
Alec Guttis.
Alexandra Bonestrow.
Jack Wellington Baritsoff.
Emma McDevitt.
Joe Holden.
Adrian Quezada Gonzalez.
Zach Remoto.
Ren Thompson.
Matthew Barrett Potter.
Jordan Kelsey Kruger.
Travis Bradford.
Bryn Kathleen Chapman.
Holt Hanley.
Katya Kramer.
Emily Evelyn Miller.
Megan Whitney Brooks.
Esther Klein.
Lucy Tan.
Julia Amaral.
Kristen Koyama.
Riley Callan.
Sharon Sao.
Nicholas Reichel.
Jasmine DeMayo.
Fiona May Muldowney.
Matthew Vasquez.
Victoria Marie Perella.
Kyrene Huang.
Rachel Marie Gomez.
Anna Kashtanova.
Kara Santori.
Tanner Shea.
Elise Marie Angson.
Natalie Ifland.
Rebecca Bauer.
Olivia Oregal.
Savannah Burkett.
Sarah Popolars.
Kelly Burge.
Elizabeth Lindahl.
Jason Marks.
Charlotte Jean Scanlon.
Haley Mackay.
Jacob Michael Mares.
Michael Garrigan.
Nancy Alejandra Macias.
Hunter Kett.
Abby Wilmer.
Scott Leo Canha.
Catherine Brady Meadows.
Andrew Barna.
Michelle Wong.
Nick Balden.
Dante Bozzini.
Anthony Anello.
Jessie Lynn Stone.
Genevieve Marie Pat.
Kenya Iniguez.
Vanessa Hall.
Erica Harvey.
Nick Paiva.
Serena Fernandez.
Nicholas Gayton.
Robin Chafee.
David Michael Minnie.
Scarlett Whitted.
Bailey Duncan.
Haley Michelle Ford.
Megan Anastasia Kelly.
Michael Paul Johnson.
Amanda Jean Mertens.
Madison Marie Petty.
Nicoletta Kyoto.
Mara S. McCowan.
Laura Ann Hartman.
Erica Barnhart.
Kyla Elizabeth Miller.
Bria Fleener.
Kendall Lauren Cusera.
Carl Laricia.
Kevin Bargetto.
Taylor Pentiga.
Braden Chase.
Nicole Faye Pfeiffer.
Ashley Nolan.
Ariana Marie Jensen.
Kara Neal.
Molly Ann Coyne.
Hannah Dyke.
Daniela Martinez.
Lillian Muir.
Samantha Bach.
Neil Bob Christofferson.
Jessica Rasmussen.
Alan Miguel Juarez.
Kiana Viss.
Jose Marcos Guzman.
Alexandra Solitis.
Timothy Holst.
Christine Lynn Trong.
Paris Russell.
Laura Elizabeth Hollander.
Emily Skorstad.
Al Gamez Jr.
James Lyle.
Kylie Nishisaka.
Savannah Rain Rodriguez.
Clayton Joseph Hitchens.
Megan J. Leishman.
Zachary Willie Wims.
Margaret Sampson.
Laura Elizabeth Castro.
Barrett Hagerly.
Christina Isabel Kinslow.
Matt McKechnie.
Michelle Greer.
Roy Butler.
Kelly Francis Briggs.
Haley Marguerite McIntyre.
Kara Lemus.
Kate Vogt.
Mackenzie Newman.
Mitch Biley.
Hannah Zarubin.
Joshua Elson.
Connor Maldonado.
Amy Yoger.
Madeline Claire Hansen.
Marina Miller.
Alexa Rain Clip.
Stephen Brian Ayers IV.
Kiana Schwenk Mueller.
Philip Chappelle.
Emily Rose Santich.
Lindsay Catherine Bowles.
Drew Bernadette.
Julia Brennan Ridgway.
Kaylee Marie Brooks.
Desiree Ariella DeRossi.
Kelly Ann Younce.
Zachary Holback.
Caitlin Carey.
Connor Duff.
Sydney Harris.
Cody Cassidy.
Megan Lee Stewart.
Chris Garner.
Casey Miller.
Eric LaHargo.
Danielle Ashley Galindo.
Patrick Levesque.
Vinny Mandiam.
Isabel Andrea Barajas.
Nate Gilbreth.
Bryce Nakai.
Jeff Miller.
Sarah Carlberg.
Carson Dangberg.
Yenli Wu.
Joshua Torres.
Samira Viliani.
Spencer Ridge Dietz.
Jocelyn Rose Swan.
Michael Bulos.
Samantha Renee Wallace.
Daniel Tatum.
Haley Pezzini.
Tyler Brecky.
Ann Hamilton.
Jason Todd Mushawar.
Sebastian Maldonado.
Patrick McKee.
Kimberly Francis Clemens.
Mason Selly.
Blake Thorson.
Connor Hertzberg.
Nicholas Monty.
Claudia Cison.
Bill Rietkirk.
Logan Tonder.
Haley Fuller.
Christina Victoria Garcia.
Daniel Troy Jensen Hedden.
Brian Aria Bachmanyar.
Haley Rose Nunn.
William Ryan Neese.
Madeline Maleka Rausch.
Katie Feely.
Charles John Chu.
Elena Ann Gates.
Natalie Grace Micah.
Upneat Karchima.
Rachel Sloan.
Ria Makichani.
Maya Joy.
Victoria De Leon Ramirez.
Stephanie Piesheimer.
Jonathan David Montague Kish.
Caitlin Paulus.
Andrea Lorenzo.
Rachel Monroe.
Anais Raymond.
Riata Marinelli.
Jake Fratone.
Taylor Michelle Wampler.
Spencer Rodriguez.
Lindsay Elizabeth Mobley.
Lexi Sather.
Hannah Leonapa.
Michael Stephen Rogers.
Lindsay Marie Robeson.
Felicia Creter.
Kelsey Ann Wright.
Lily Califano.
Marina Margaretich.
Zachary Edward.
Emily Espinoza.
Maximilian Batowski.
Allison Leahy.
Kyle Barkas.
Stephen Party.
Lauren Christine Henneforth.
Weston Shipstead.
Allison Gallant.
Grant Copeland.
Haley Ann Waukee.
Jordan Keith Stanley.
Roshi Melody Maha.
Melissa Marie Heredia.
Matthew Austin Nang.
Garrison Thomas Yendel.
Kevin Kearney.
Tyler Allen Dickinson.
Aaron Haas.
Joseph Bernardo Dominguez.
Spencer Doan.
Heather Gores.
Haley Miriam Feliciano Hicks.
Nicole Fitzsimmons.
Grace Waldron.
Virginia Aurelia Rosales.
Austin Riley Leeds.
Quentin Bellin.
Michael Foster.
Melissa Egger.
Carter Gulsvig.
Kevin Den Hartog.
Amanda Post.
Taylor Nilsson.
Colin Scholl.
Devin Jackson.
Kiana Sanii,
Jared Hobbs,
Karen Loomis,
Jace Tweedy,
Ryan Colin Traband,
Christina Cabanova,
Ashley Kalman,
Sarah Tormey,
Catherine Kelly,
Eli Grinberg,
Megan Shangdingst,
Catherine Bradley,
Gabriela Maria Aversa,
Colin Wong,
Mai Parachana Helm,
Alexander Winter,
Allison Nicole Jones,
Catherine Benedict,
Brianna Hennekam,
Christopher Daunt,
Rebecca Miles,
Zach Cipriano,
Alexis Alhadaf,
Alicia Marie Streetman,
Emily Rose Decker,
Zach Plott,
Savannah Rose Fox,
Louise Knott,
Erin Jane Welty,
Kelly Kiani Packwood,
Emily Catherine Ferguson,
Haley Jackman,
Christine Carol Holst,
Michael Kraft,
Catherine Rose Holst,
Kenneth Bigick Grice,
Megan Elizabeth Rondon,
Juan Domingo Jr.,
Erin Lee Bean,
Alexa Hammond,
Sonia Lehua Kramer,
Robert J. Huff,
Chaya Divya Rajiv,
Margaret Thompson,
Catherine June Luddington,
Hannah Rose Ermish,
Colby Lindholm,
Brooke Holland,
Dana Williams,
Christina Marie Soares,
Rylan Nicole Younger,
Valerie Kern,
Alexandra Marie Woolman,
John Thomas,
Ashley Marie Purviance,
Mitchell S. Woods,
Taylor Barron,
Zane Westmoreland Causa,
Catherine Alice Green,
Kelsey Nicole DeGrief,
Haley Ann Cushing,
Christopher Henrik,
Maria de Jesus Ramirez Camacho,
Melanie Conti,
Sarah Victoria Calise,
Zachary Stephen Greco,
Peter Olson,
Isabel Bennett,
Mason Collins,
Valentine Barabash,
Alex Solorio,
Tom McNutt,
Kyle Radomski,
Richard Amos Honeycutt,
Brendan Floyd,
Zachariah Antonio Murillo,
Bowen Parker,
Christopher Kleinsmith,
Tess McConnell,
Annie Rose Meifel Sarvert,
Sunny Joy Dupuis,
Macy Jane Cox,
Celia Thurman,
Madison Gaddy,
Catherine Ann Larimore,
Joseph Seifert,
Burley Paul Fisher Jr.,
Nico DeGiorgio,
Nicholas Stair,
Victoria Morgan Laird,
Sean Richmond,
Preston Klein Fisher,
Forrest Richmond,
Eduardo Vera,
Parker James Winthrop Somerville,
Matthew Babbage Valentine,
Leo William Turner Parsons,
Brooke Danielle Toast,
Tyler M. Contra,
James Lee,
Austin Lippincott,
Catherine Turley.
Jenna Valdez.
Olivia Gemperly.
Stuart Slavin.
Rose Cleary.
Ryan Perry.
Austin Fellows.
Kevin Hua Fong.
Adam Cox.
Noah Miller.
Saba Asghari.
Max Yarbrough.
Carlin Wright.
Diana Yagmore.
Anna Katrina Lassen.
Christina Michelle Dyack.
MJ Topel.
Danya Ramirez Garcia.
Davis Cracknell.
Matthew Hamlin.
John Joseph Murphy.
Zachary Hoffman.
Michael Eager.
Corinne Marisa Spires.
Robert Bergschneider.
Kyle Kenny.
Carson Rolfe.
Alex Johan Henriksen.
Marissa Lim.
John Riffle.
Tess Noelani Engel.
Maureen N. Smith.
Shannon Malinzak.
Molly Joanna Zeklin.
Aaron Michael Brogdon.
Kevin Armenta.
Amy Purviance.
Aaron Wong.
Anna Miller.
Noah Muller.
Delaney Gove.
Jenna Vaca.
Brooke Sullivan.
Isaac Gomez.
Lauren Page Garner.
Ivan Villanueva.
Trevor John Poindexter.
Gunnar Johnson.
Patrick Larson.
Cheyenne Labuschi.
Bradley Dixon.
Ryan Pineda.
Tyler Salcido.
Tracy Luong.
Elise Babby and guest.
Lauren Union.
Alice Angelica Giron Jang.
Cassidy Lee Davis.
Alex Atelli.
Matthew Didero.
Haley Cornack.
Kylie Graham.
Michaela Tosta.
Kristen Marie Robinson.
Rachel Simone Del Toro Gibson.
Adriana Laporte.
Brenna Alvarez.
Matthew Meredith.
Allison Fromm.
Austin Silvers.
Pedro Toledo.
Cody Shields.
Mark Passanen.
Natasha Neithamer.
Ian Duncan Lord.
Grant Cook.
Zach Anthony.
Nolan Schock.
Emily Dektar.
Aaron Kenneth Daw.
Jordan Hassarat.
Jeffrey Scott Lee.
Maddie Allgaier.
Kylie Vorfeld.
Jen Pierce Alviar Frabo.
Lauren Taylor Johnson.
Kira Mika Fukawa.
Vanessa Bender.
Willow Chan.
Lindsay Pendricelli.
Anthony Flores.
John Patrick Rice.
Amanda Aguirre.
Paul Langlois.
Caitlin Young.
Rachel Oster.
Lydia Kuang.
Alex Joannes.
Matthew Wada.
Gregory Kushner.
Rachel Senda.
Christopher Ray Kasperzak.
Marta Tabatabai.
Ryan Lee Seneschal.
Alicia Goto.
Michaela Spizak.
Abigail Elizabeth May Nemeth.
Elisa Torres.
Gabriela Belen Gomez.
Benjamin Alameda.
Catherine Alicia Ulrich.
Tyler Colt.
Mary Luann Allen.
Michael Ryan Martinez.
Isamar Hernandez Ramos.
Maximilian James Gomez.
Tanner Tuttle.
Julia Elaine Trihorn.
Melissa Tuttle.
Sierra Durham.
Jera Helen Hagins.
Brianna Sierra.
Carly Kirchie.
Jennifer Tran.
Mallory McNulty.
Joshua Stambaugh.
Paula Kreider.
Lindsay Patrick.
Diego Aguirre.
Karina Joan Reynolds.
Cecilia Acosta.
Horacio Armando Lazaro.
Alana Riley.
Justin McAllister.
Jacqueline Alvarez.
Jennifer Barajas.
Colette Hodges.
Jonathan Bubala.
Ridge Cameron Shipley.
Rebecca Ray.
Hannah Morgan Gilbert.
Danielle Chun.
Shannon McKenna Fouts.
Sarah Hepler.
Anna Claire Gorman.
Luan Din.
Alexandria Walters.
Brayler Grout.
Chelsea Westfall.
Sam Lynn.
Shannon Lynn Christensen.
Matthew Nguyen.
Christine Elaine Flock.
Brian Klinger.
Caitlin Grace Kinney.
Morgan Malley.
Jillian Elise Beck.
Caitlin McGrew.
Jamie Layla Goldie.
Rebecca Moskowitz.
Emily Ross Bishop.
Reese Erickson.
Bonnie Estelle McDonald.
Miles Amby.
Jeremy Nielsen.
Cheng Mua.
Chad Anthony Porter.
Emma Ann Elkins.
Emma Mestman Cannon.
Kristen Coopershuk.
Kylie Grace Sen.
Michaela Marie Montgomery.
Morgan Amanda Nicodemus.
Taylor Ann Karst.
Allison Catherine Quantz.
Olivia Ray.
Maya S. Summer.
Jenna Pecori.
Matthew Evan Paul.
Valentina Vertamara.
Natalie Cooney.
Jessica Justice.
Corinne Smith.
Georgia Reeves.
Emma Christine Bovberg.
Heather Neldner.
Jenna Brienne Arocha.
Lydia Grace Bishop.
Celeste Nicole Gritch.
Emmy Dussel.
Ashley Victoria Liu.
Jenna Yoskowitz.
McCartney Gazetta.
Hannah Snyder.
Julia Cott.
Nicole Odell.
Sierra Rose Sarton.
Kelsey Firebaugh.
Lucy Elizabeth Dodson.
Taryn Elizabeth Greer.
Sean Donald Burkhammer.
Megan Elizabeth Mormon.
Jack William Elder.
James Amaral.
Candace Marie Walton.
Allison Warren.
Fiona Cullen.
Haley Kep.
Danielle Trujillo.
Megan McBrien.
Bregan Kristen Sims.
Taylor Lynn Champlin.
Rihanna Nicole Powell.
Camille Chabot.
Joel Wyman.
Lauren Amendola.
Ryan Vianello.
Jenna Ray Johnson.
Hayden Bronken.
Emily Holmes.
Sabrina Lee Hall.
Lauren Marie Cassie.
Mackenzie Bressler.
Hannah Elizabeth Almeida.
Shane Gillard.
Nadia Celine Butel.
Madison Albiani.
Michelle Kate Bailey.
Alana Rose Irene Smith.
Alexandria Cutshaw.
Taylor Marie Flaherty.
Danica Murphy.
Kelsey Sackett.
Madeline Elise Bingham.
Adriana Jean DeLucchi.
Melissa Nicole Smith.
Francesca Gambonini.
Cameron Justine Saylor.
Annalicia Machado Lewis.
Ariana Aragon.
Kathleen Ann Migliazzo.
Taryn Shanae Macon.
Yvonne Lee Staffler.
Joseph Sanchez.
Kristen Marie Alamo.
Bobby Jean Gibson.
Cameron Michelle Spencer.
Jocelyn Edna Baird.
Marilyn Wilhelmina Van Beek.
Nicole Krebsbach.
Stephanie Van Diepol.
Brandon Messerly.
Emily Rose Janowski.
Andrew Troy Harris.
Elizabeth Rose Russell.
Sarah Newsom.
Marlena Mary Wagner.
Wesley Chan.
Darby Toth.
Gabriel Dale Porter Pollock.
Sarah Judge.
Addison Scott Corey.
Lauren Zeck.
Kyle Roth Rivera.
Blake Lopez.
Nathan Smith.
Mason Crump.
Colin Taylor.
Alex McLaughlin.
Madison Teoda.
Brian Reardon.
Callie Doherty Almeida.
Taylor Schmiedier.
Kiana Rose Streeter.
Jason Sanford.
Matthew Smirker.
Kevin Campos.
Teresa Elizabeth Eccles.
Neeti Angle.
Natalie Christine Robertson.
Noelani Parker.
Malia Dorothy Naaman.
Laura Palmer.
Wyatt Joseph Essola.
Jay Tiveldi.
Karen Poole.
Kyle Vizzolini.
Kendall Elizabeth Ott.
Bryson Wind.
Brandon M. Baxter.
Elizabeth Dow.
Ella Golovi.
Madison Jackson.
Austin Maury Whitson.
Bridget McCallum.
Austin Ketchersid.
Summer Arlena Santos.
Brian McCauley.
Caitlin Ozine.
Natasha Bolet.
Abigail Josephine Mueller.
Annalise Sequoia Tappy.
Courtney Bramers.
Jillian Mary McDonnell Rice.
Kelsey Lynn Hitchen.
Jonathan Galvez.
Laura Green.
Sarah Conway.
Megan Catherine Donegan.
Dreelan Claire Hubbard.
Casey Madelone.
Brooke Nicole Campbell.
Neen Jane.
Courtney Ty Owens.
Delaney Rasmus.
Allison Gasanika.
Julia Fleming.
Haley Peterson.
Evan Michael Quigley.
Nikki Ashley Taylor.
David Fong.
Lauren Elizabeth Bell.
Camden Reynolds.
Amy Bruter.
Tiger Cohen.
Sana Raza.
Laura Cerny.
Elizabeth Poulin.
Maritza Enriquez.
Aaron Viverito.
Michelle Nicole Johnson.
Caroline Wade.
Emily Hansen.
Megan Shank.
Summer Dici.
Cassidy Laree Williams.
Laura Borovillos.
Stephanie Silva.
Ryan Gilmore.
Garrett Jordan.
Alexandria Castaneda.
Kevin White.
Joel Timothy Leonard.
Cameron Michael Gurley.
Grace Watson.
Naidea Zarate.
Sarah Mia Doe.
Crystal Garcia.
Anna Elaine Thingval.
Nicholas T. Lee.
Sierra Withrow.
Mary Hillis.
Michelle McCarthy.
Scott Vassar.
Brooke Miller.
Julie Ostrowski.
Emily Gardner.
Stephanie Dracup.
Daisy Ortega.
Austin Kevin Dickens.
Isabel Neiditz.
Courtney Marie Eubank.
Molly Sasha Miller.
Jorge Zarate.
Ellen Ray.
Christian Ramirez.
Joy Lomax.
Roman Ajedo.
Drew Naziaka.
Christian Baez.
Connor King.
Daniel G. Alfavaro.
Cameron Reeves.
Martin Alfaro.
William Raleigh.
Etienne Bergano.
Kelly Fisher.
Joanne Johnson.
Adrian Nathaniel Morales.
Sonny Bergen.
Anuja Argade.
Ricardo Lopez.
Courtney Schlosserek.
Riley Ann Williams.
Emily Russell.
Shauna Marie McDonough.
Becky Miller.
Taylor Caitlin Izagari.
Drew Morgan Landay.
James Young.
Amber Ann Atkinson.
Madison Quintanar.
Sasha Jane Greenlee.
Emma Sills.
Benjamin John Jankovitz.
McKenna Brianne Kane.
Mackenzie Ann Grace.
Mitchell Bradley Lowanig.
Allison Noel Hall.
Aria Abed-Safian.
Israel Garcia.
Melissa Ann Hall.
Alec Thill.
Rose Rivera Bamonde.
Jason Friedel.
Tyler Naso.
Dustin William Weir.
Laura O'Keefe.
Taylor Cullum Myers.
Ruby Francis.
Caitlin Jane Krautkramer.
Caitlin Thatcher.
Morgan Cameron.
Desiree Sahadi.
Danielle Rose Clenay.
Cole Cortella.
Bailey Lynn Hartman.
Rachel Harris.
Gianna Michelle Milano.
Matthias Rosil,
Casey Lee Cadwell,
Pookie McLaughlin,
Chelsea Justine Bates,
Chad Foster,
Justin Adam,
Marley McCain,
Morgan Coffin,
Suzanne Rose Kritz,
Emily Chung,
Marie Carmen Weeman,
Danielle Jacobson,
Edith Velasquez Mancia,
Miriam Flock,
Eunice Contreras,
Kelsey Lee Woodson,
Jessica Hernandez,
Nancy Elizabeth Morales,
Veronica Lemus,
Yanis Montano,
Lori Sisler,
Lilibeth Pedrosa,
Wonho Choi,
Salvador Lopez,
Luis Eric Alvarez,
Bryce Yoshimoto,
Adam Michael Matic,
Bridget Marriott Van Beek,
Chris Mason,
Andrea Frey,
Nina Miraki,
Anna Bechtold,
Kagan Stanier,
Carter Paul Hallman,
Sean Sullivan,
Lucy Gale Sage Schermesser,
Paolo Salvoni,
Natasha Ray Bartolome,
Lucas Martin,
Emily Mieko Kawakami,
Nathan Gola,
Catherine Ann Ventura,
Jerry Hansen,
Raina Ono,
Henry J. Simonson,
James Herrerius,
Danielle Bryan,
Lauren Dean,
Michelle Scott,
Mia Clarity,
Kelsey Marie Temple,
Francis Laura,
Holly Ann Wilson,
Allison Rebecca Heston,
Damian Staley,
Kayla Christine Manning,
Joseph Roberts,
Catherine Nicole Fernandez,
Josephine May Odello,
Mark Poindexter,
Sienna Ray Birdsall,
Ryan Foster,
Ethan Rasmussen,
Jose Juan Alvarez Navoa III,
Trent Myers,
Brianna Lefoshu,
Rachel Hogervorst,
Camille Desrochers,
Dale Morris,
Caitlin Jane Whitney,
Sienna Maciello,
Cameron Lewis Cates,
Austin Jones,
Kenna Ray Sandberg,
Sarah Shepard,
Brittany Marnin,
Christine Curtis,
Savannah Diane Ryan,
Riley Hawes,
Russell Allen Zimmerman,
Lucy Howarth,
Hannah Rose Chandless,
Jackson Tusky,
Clayton Alfred Carlson,
Matthew Joseph Quadamateo,
Kelly Prescott,
Molly Brenna Gilmerton,
Rylan Marie Lindahl,
Luke Bayard,
Dominique Marie DeMoss,
Tyler John Harris,
Hannah Rose Fortin,
Melissa Julia Brown,
Daniel Covarrubias,
Christina Roberts,
Logan Thornley,
Alexa Ray Carcula,
Colton Schultz,
Magden McNamara,
Jared Martin,
Sierra Fraser,
Emily Nitow,
Julia Patrice Musavi,
Cambria Luce,
Alexandra Kokostidas.
Jessica Berger.
Madeline Smith.
Haley Rashu.
Leah Botello.
Shelby Orland.
Catherine Edgerly.
Dana Katz.
Rayanne Heiner.
Victoria Smith.
Elizabeth Van Herwig.
Kenneth Romero.
Anna Barrow.
Sharif Moonzi.
Andrea Rose Stout.
Kelton Robert Shields. Zachary Ferguson. Vincent Tran. And Bubba Bear Jethro.
Well done. Well done. The platform party will now exit the stadium. On behalf of the faculty and staff at Cal Poly, we wish each of you much success in the future. As Academic Senate Chair Gary Laver removes the university mace, this academic session at Cal Poly is concluded. Thank you.